Quack.
Hello, Sam.
Napz.
Hello, Sam.
How you both doing?
Pretty good.
Excellent. Stellar.
I'm glad to hear it. I've got a question for you both. What would you say is the worst run organization in Counter-Strike?
I think it kind of has to go for me. It has to go. I go to heroic, to be honest, with the last calendar year or so. There's just so much shit that I don't get why they've gone about things the way they have. So, they had Grix, great opper. They opted to bench him after fucking no time at all, instead of working with him. So that kind of begs the question: why did you sign him at all? They get kl1m, who was already kind of mid, turned out to be kind of mid. They sold pretty much their only good player, and they didn't even get anybody good to replace him. They just put xFloud back in.
xFloud's
into the
alright.
roster.
It's a bit harsh.
Yeah, but it's not Tenier. It's not what Tenier was.
Yeah, but Nilo, Quack, Nilo.
Yeah, I guess they had Nilo. Yeah, right. Anyway, he took a while to get up to speed, but even that, the entire Nilo thing is fucked up as well, on a weird level. They had I think they had a 94% chance of making the Budapest major, and they missed it, which is that has to be a management issue. Then over the winter they make 2 moves, and then they fuck up kl1m's visa application. As far as what kl1m said, anyway, it's the organization's fault, forcing them to play with youngster as their opera for a whole season. I think it's just very poorly done. It's horribly done. And at the same time, they've had an IGL change, and they signed a player who hasn't lived up to expectations, and they've been pretty stagnant over the course of the season. I like heroic. On paper, a lot of these decisions could have made sense, but it's just what the fuck are they doing?
I'm gonna say yours is a little unfair, Quack. I'm gonna be real with you. I think heroic do a lot of good things that maybe aren't so public facing. They also post great tweets that get great interactions. really good work.
Their social media is on point.
Yeah, and I mean, it gives me something nice to look at on my timeline. Great org. Quack, your answer disregarded. Napz, what have you got for me?
So, there is some bias here, and it requires a little bit of nuance, but I'm gonna go with Mouse. And if you look at Mouse historically, in spite of their bad decisions, they have always done decently well, which makes it even more frustrating that they make these bad decisions. So, you have to keep in mind, this is the org that signed NBK in 2022, right? This is the org that benched Stiko for Snax when Stiko is the most hard support ever and Snax isn't, right? This is the org that lets their fans wait a full year for their new merch in collaboration with Snipes. This is the org that releases...
Oh, was that the shit tea towel jersey? None of you fuckers should have bought that anyway. It was terrible.
It was actually the one before that, which was the really cool one, which has the basically, you remember the Euro 88?
I don't remember much about Mouse ever. I try not to. Carry on.
But it has a cool pattern and everything, and everybody was really excited for it. It was their first collaboration with Snipes, and it took them a full year to get the merch going. This is also the org that releases a new... This happened just recently, happened yesterday. Releases a new jersey, or a new merch shop, but then only in German. When most of their biggest fan base is not even German anymore.
No, they're a German organization, Napz. Come on, bro.
Cherry on top of the cake. Cherry on top of the cake is, what is it? 1.5, 2 months before the major, you decide to make some major roster changes and just play with a stand-in at the major. And a player that isn't on the roster anymore.
Okay. Listen. I'm hearing you on some of this shit. I know you got some bias that obviously affects it. Personally, I would have made changes if I was Mouse a while ago. Probably wouldn't even sign PR a while ago when they were after him, because I don't think PR's that good. He's a bit overrated. But they have been quite good historically throughout CS. You know, they have the dips, they come back up. I feel like you're being a bit unfair. You know, they're not Liquid. They're not Joker Steve. They're not G2 posting anal memes and whatever the fuck G2 are posting right now on their Twitter that I really need to ask their social team about because I'm fucking baffled by it.
No, but that's my point.
But no,
in spite of all that,
you've also been disregarded, Napz. Both of you have failed my question. We'll go back to the Animo school of bitching throughout the episode, I'm sure. I hope you both do better. Because right now, I have my own answer. But before that, Charlie, roll the fucking intro, please. Right, so my answer is fnatic. I fucking hate fnatic. I'm gonna put that. I don't like fnatic at all. I like them for that period in which they had Mezzy, big fan then. But then some of that period involved Dexter, so I was less of a fan. But fnatic for me are just like, they're so strange. They've been in this like perpetual, endless fucking rebuild since 2020, maybe. Like, we're talking very long time now that they've been going through constant fucking roster move after roster move after roster move. But the decline of their roster in the last year or so is particularly impressive. Now, I quite liked bringing in Fear and Jambo. I thought they were very usable pieces. And I thought, you know, Cypher, adequate replacement for Mattis, cool stuff. But then you boot Cypher after he helps you get to the major, and you bring in Jacasmo, who is nothing like Cypher and actually just kind of crap. And then you decide you need an aggressive player, so you bring in Madden. And Madden fucking sucks, so you bring in whoever the fuck, what's his name? Bratko. Right, not a fucking clue. Fucking
he is whoever the fuck, yeah.
Bum nobody. And now you get rid of KRIMZ, who's been with you forever, and you're probably bringing in some other fucking bum nobody Ukrainian who Quacke will be like, oh no, he's the next guy. Fuck off, Quacke.
No.
Sick of your shit already. We're not doing this tier 3 academy team bollocks because this is a fucking hate fest, right? So fuck fnatic, in my opinion. Fuck this Ukrainian cronyism thing they've got going on. I'm sure soon we'll see them become Fnatic X Monty with a CS analytics partnership. That'll be really cool. Really good site, by the way. Nice work, Monty.
Shout out CS Anal.
See, lads, this is how you hate. You bring in all the other things you hate at the same time. It's great.
That's true.
But Quacke, I'm going to turn this to you now because you know you're the unfortunate Swede amongst us. So how do you feel about this decline from Fnatic and now KRIMZ departing the organisation?
The decline for Fnatic. Honestly, at this point, I think a lot of Swedes feel vindication because they haven't had a Swedish team for half a decade. So the slow descent is like mildly satisfying because it's like, oh, we went away from the Swedish roster because we couldn't find the talent. Like, we tried with Jaquinho and Pepsor, but it just wasn't working. We just had to go to the
Well, they could have tried with good players.
Yeah, that's my point as well. But like, we tried and we had to but like we had to go to the English players. We had to go to Alex and we had to go to these, and then it's a slow decline, and now they're ending up with a fully Ukrainian roster, which is ranked 50th something in the world. So in that way, I'm kind of happy about it, to be honest, the way that they're going down, because it's like, yeah, no, you've tried for 5 years now. Like you had the formula, you had the support of like one of the biggest nations in Sweden, or one of the biggest nations in Counter-Strike in Sweden, and like you went away from that because you thought you could have more success without it, and then you fucking failed. So good on you. But then yeah, it's just, it's also a bit sad, you know, especially watching KRIMZ stick it out, probably genuinely believing that there could have been something good there. I feel like KRIMZ could have had, if he wasn't so loyal to Fnatic, KRIMZ definitely could have had a slightly better time the last 5 years than he has done on Fnatic.
Oh yeah, he's still been like decent the whole time. So it's quite an unfortunate one in that regard for him. What do you reckon KRIMZ does now, Quack?
Sounds like retiring, to be honest. I'm not sure he's moved. Like, I'm not sure if Fnatic have moved away from KRIMZ more than KRIMZ has moved away from Fnatic, or maybe they've just given him the grace, like the graceful move of like, we'll make it look like that anyway. But it's I could see him keep playing. Like I also could just flat out see him retiring. There's spots for him to take if he wants to go to. Like, everybody's saying eyeballers, like go back to JW and do all that stuff, especially with very handsome reporters leak of a certain transfer move.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get over yourself.
But yeah, then I'm not sure I see that move. I'm not sure I see that move. But there's other spots that, like, there's going to be other spots for the taking. Like a Johnny Speeds is also a project that I could be like, yeah, KRIMZ would fit perfectly in. And he could actually like bring something to the players who I think have been struggling for quite a while, and a team that has been struggling to like move upwards for quite a while. That's something that KRIMZ could really bring to. He could also just flat out go international. Like there's definitely teams who could use him. So I hope he keeps.
I mean, I'm not being funny. Like even if I was a fucking tier 1 org, I'd probably be willing to be like, if I knew one of my players was on the way out and I'm not sure about that, maybe the cost of a certain replacement or the availability of a perfect replacement. Like, KRIMZ is a pretty versatile player. I'd maybe be willing to say to him, like, look, we'll give you from now until the end of the Singapore major. If it works out, like, tell us the contract length, whatever, you know, we can sign you on for a year at that point. Like, I think KRIMZ does have stuff to offer. Like, I think a lot of people's expectations is that KRIMZ has actually been quite crap for a while, and that's why he was still on Fnatic. But you look at his numbers; they're like perfectly respectable for what he was doing. So I think KRIMZ, as well. I think when you look at some of the teams that are floating around, you know, like we've just seen Gamer Legion, and we'll talk about them in a bit, but we've just seen them go 0-3 in stage 2 at a major. Like, there's plenty of teams with these kind of composure issues that someone like KRIMZ could actually really benefit them.
Yeah.
As a team. So I think there should be plenty of options. And talking about a player who should have plenty of options, HLTV reported the other day that kl1m will be, well, G2 will be open to offers for kl1m in the near future. A few months ago, I would have said this is terrible, but I think Sampaius has really picked up. I still think I'd probably go for kl1m over Sampaius, just because, to me, like, yeah, okay, kl1m might not be as good, but it feels like a fucking m0NESY leaving Na'Vi type situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get it more now than I did a few months ago. So, either one of you, I mean, where would you see kl1m going now?
I mean, he definitely can't stay at MIBR, right?
I don't think he should. I think he could, but I think he'd be stupid to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he could, but he shouldn't.
I mean, most teams could use him, to be honest. There's a little bit of an Opera crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Or some would say, the statisticians would say that we are blinded by rating 3.0. But to be honest, like, even within like the top 15, there's plenty of Operas who just aren't really delivering where they maybe should be. Like, G2 had one of them. Realistically, kl1m should be on the main team instead of Sampaius. I think pretty much everybody can agree on that. But that's apparently not happening. And I mean, FaZe desperately need an Opera. And from down, like, if you go down from there, pretty much everybody could use him, to be honest. Weirdly enough, maybe NIP are the only ones who don't need him, because down is surprisingly good.
it's a really weird one, right? Where it's like, okay, heroic, obviously need an AWPer. Should Klim go to heroic? Not 100% sure about that one, but I like it more than MIBR. Like,
I would like heroic.
I would see heroic for Klim as an upgrade.
Yeah.
Just because even though MIBR, if you put the two teams against each other right now, MIBR are probably winning. Heroic are in Europe, and I think Klim needs to be on a European team now.
And maybe it's also, if you think about it, MIBR with Klim, would they win against Heroic with Klim?
Yeah, well, that
Probably,
I doubt
yeah.
exactly. But I mean, like, Liquid, desperate need of an AWPer because Ultimate is just beyond shit. FaZe, desperate need of an AWPer because Brokey's awful. Foot is an interesting one because I think we all know that Symmetry is the worst player there, but also he's a very key part of how they play. So I'm not sure I'd do that if I was Foot. I don't think that's the...
If I was Liquid...
I don't think that's the type of upgrade that people would think it is.
Yeah. If I was Liquid, I would be very, very interested in Klim.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
You'd
Because,
be a fool not to be.
Yeah, I really think that could also... And it helps as well because he's NA, of course, or at least America's.
Yeah.
So, for me,
Well,
we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but if you think about Liquid... I would say the two people that you want to change in that lineup is Ultimate and Shui. But we can talk about that later because
we'll
getting
come back to Liquid. But I mean, who else? Like Astralis, I'd keep Fuzi. I think Fuzi's great. He's just struggling right now.
Yeah.
Game Legion, let's be realistic, they don't have the money for that.
Hypix has been slightly better recently.
No,
he's
been good. Paravision, I don't think James could be fallen. I don't think that works. Mouse, I think Torzy fucking sucks, honestly. I think Torzy's been so bad for so long that I wouldn't mind Mouse doing it.
I don't think they want to make that move now because they drop so hard in the ranking. Because that would mean 3 players change.
Mate, I'm not being funny. If I was Mouse, I'd say fuck the core. I'd rebuild from the bottom if I was Mouse, because I think they're in for a year of changing players at the first available opportunity. So I would just say fuck it all now.
Retain Spinks, Surgeon, and Xelix, and you'll still be alive in tier 1 events. But I think you're missing the big ones. The better part of the fall season is going to be spent in close qualifiers if you swap Torgy as well.
I'd boot Exertion and Torzy tomorrow. Or I'd boot Xelix and Torzy and stop Exertion IGLing. I'd say fuck the core if I was Mouse. I don't think it's worth having it around.
I do agree with you that I think the bigger problem that Mouse has is that Exertion is going to be IGLing. Or is IGLing, I guess.
He had one hell of a run, but it stinks of honeymoon.
Yeah. And then Torzy... I don't know, man.
Do you know what
I know he has the potential, but I also if it's Klim or Torzy, then I know who I'm betting on.
Do you know what an underrated destination for Klim might be? Aurora.
I was gonna say, yeah. If they finally make
if those international rumors were true, then and Woxic is a player that's leaving. Klim is such a fucking nailed-on prospect for them. It's certainly I think as well. It's potentially also the most realistic at that point.
Yeah.
But who knows? In terms of another player that is moving, or rather not moving because he's moving strictly to a prison, Quack, I'm going to give you a minute now, brother. You have a minute to talk on Male09 and his newfound location in a jail cell on Metizport.
Yes. Shortly, or at the end of the season, I'm not quite sure exactly when it's going to happen. 30th of June is when his loan runs out. Male09 will be going back to Metizport, and he will not stay in Alliance. They tried to buy him, and it was quite close. from what I've heard, a handsome amount of money, but Metizport said no to it because they think, I assume it's because they think they can get more. But yeah, Alliance weren't like, they offered as much as they could. They couldn't buy him, and he's going back to Metizport. And instead they are signing Bob XD. So for now, as far as I know, Melo9 has no offers. They're probably hoping that something comes after the major, or they just straight up want to play with him, which I would imagine is still what Metizport would want to do. But at the same time, when Melo9 has been out like several times publicly saying he's not happy in Metizport, then I also can't imagine that. And yeah, Lions have made the best of it by signing Bob XD. So I think that was about a minute, Sam.
Something like that. That. Yeah, it's a shame for Melo9, but I'm sure he will ultimately do fine. Because I'm also sure if Alliance could afford to get close to his buyout, then his buyout isn't that high, and therefore someone else will absolutely buy him.
As far as I know, there is no buyout. Metizport just kind of decide what they want.
Brilliant.
So
well, he's too talented to be on that fucking shitty org for long. So
no, honestly, I'm looking down the ranking, and I like knowing roughly the ballpark we're in. I don't see that many orgs that could like definitely buy him around this level, because it's at least not like he's not moving to like a top 10 side after the major, unfortunately. But like Mouse wouldn't buy Melo9.
No, but I could see a Heroic or a Gamer Legion type team doing it.
Yeah, but like if they're not making the right moves to make that move happen, like if they don't have the openings in their team to sign him, then I think he's just staying on Metizport. Because Alliance, like, as much as Alliance are quite small in Counter-Strike, they're like one of the few orgs at this sort of level that are like active in multiple esports. They're actually like a decently sized operation. So like, we're not talking like millions of dollars. You know, a lot of teams definitely could pay for it. I just don't really see where the move would actually go at the moment. But I guess we'll see after the major when silly season shakes out.
Yeah. Exciting. So let's talk about the major then.
Yeah.
Because now, you know, a lot of Counter-Strike is being played, so we probably should actually talk about it. And let's start with Gaming Gladiators, because they were fucking rubbish. They were perhaps the worst team to ever play at a major. A group of unks that are exactly the problem with Stage 1, exactly the problem with the Americas region having so many spots, and one of the reasons why I'm glad that we had to watch Best of Ones at this event, because it meant that I had to watch less of them than I would otherwise. Any positive thoughts on Gaming Gladiators, other than the fact they were out very fast?
Not necessarily a positive thought, but maybe a little bit of recognition, because I don't remember which teams it were, but there were some Brazilian teams or American teams that decided to try and get into the major through Europe by playing in Europe, and just got shit on. And Gaming Gladiators just played the game and, you know, kind of used the system as it was to get their spot at the major. So it's like, it's not totally deserved, but it's not undeserved either. Like they played it smart. But other than that, it's shits, yes, and it wasn't interesting, and everybody knew that they were just there for the sticker money.
The best the best round was the one where they were playing on Nuke and they threw the outside smokes, and two of them just fucking leg it down secret as fast as possible, and a third one's like, "I've got a molly out. What do I do now?" and just lobs it at them in secret, and then burns himself in it when he walks out.
Yeah,
just the worst, terrible Counter-Strike.
The worst part about that round is I think it was against Big. And the worst part is, like, I think the caster suggested that it was like trying to fake the molly in secret. But if you're trying to fake the molly in secret, surely you would be watching for someone pushing the smoke, because that's what you're trying to fake. And surely you wouldn't walk through it yourself. But what they did is throw the molly, both look towards secret, walk through it, and then get shot in the back by Blame F. it's the stupidest round of CS, or the stupidest moment in a round of CS I've seen in a while.
Yeah. Gaming Gladiators stage 1 exit is... Somebody said this, and I think it is true. I'm trying. I haven't found any counter examples yet. It is the worst round win percentage any team has had in any major Swiss stage of all time.
That feels accurate.
23.5%. Everybody else has been worse. Metizport in Austin was worse, or was better. Linvision in Budapest was better. So yeah, I can't find any other.
Let's circle back to that stat. Let's circle back to that. I think that got beaten.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. Let's circle back
to
that
stage 2,
one.
you mean?
Might be right.
Yeah, but let's talk about Sinners for now. Because, and I feel like Quack, this is maybe more one for you because you care more about shitters. But I've seen Sinners play a couple times this year, and I always thought they look pretty good, and I was kind of expecting them to get out of this stage. They didn't. It went pretty horribly wrong. They went out 0-3. So Quack, for you, what went wrong for Sinners at this event?
I think they kind of got I'm not going to say that they got showed up because it's against FlyQuest, but I think maybe this is just a stage that is slightly too big for them. This is, like, for all the European teams that you will often call shitters, Sinners is the only legitimate shitter, to be honest. And they're good, like, they're pretty good. But they were, like, never going to hang at this level. Like, Big
I
can
call
hang
a lot
at
of
this
people
level.
shitters, Quack. There's some legit shitters out there. I'd probably call Monty shitters if they didn't have 2 Brits on them, and Monty are legit enough.
Sinners are, like, legitimate shitters, because at least Big have the players to hang. Big have the players that can get through a game like the NRG game. Sinners just kind of don't. Like, there's nobody on this team who has ever been at this level, and it's like it's a first for everybody involved. And I think that's just kind of what it is. Same reason why Sharks didn't go through. Like, Sharks talent-wise is probably above FlyQuest, maybe above Linvision, depending on who you ask. In terms of, like, how hard they can shoot. But, like, this is all of them. This is their first major. Same thing for Sinners. So, in the end, it was kind of going to happen.
I was about to say as well, like, it didn't feel like they were necessarily playing very bad, but they, like, the devil's in the details, right, in this stage.
Yeah.
So if it's your first time playing on such a big stage and playing these kinds of teams, like, this is where the nerves will get to you. And I think that first game against FlyQuest, you know, you're playing overtime, the nerves get to you. After that, you can't shake them anymore. And so that's why I think they went 0-3.
Well, so for me, this is where the interesting conversation about stage 1 and 2 begins, and it's a shame that the days line up as they are, because, you know, we're not going to get to talk about stage 3 in this context, because stage 3 is obviously all best of 3.
Yeah.
Now, Napz, you were in Cologne for stage 1. Yes. I've been here for stage 2. Stage 1 and 2 fucking suck. They really suck. Like, they don't fit. I've done a couple of major group stages. I've done a lot of group stages at other events. The Challenger stage, because of the RMRs, was not as bad as stage 1 and stage 1 and 2 are. Stage 1 and 2 are piss boring. They fucking suck. And stage 1, in my opinion, just needs to go. Especially, like, with this new sticker change, there's less of the even economic justification of stage 1, where you're like, oh yeah, but it's a good thing for the entire ecosystem. So fuck that idea off. But if we do have to have stage 1 and 2, I don't see a world where these stages can continue to have best of ones in, because I'm not sure what happened to Sinners would have happened if there was best of 3s. I think if there was best of 3s, they probably actually do beat FlyQuest.
Yes, they do.
Because I think they were probably the better team in that best of 1.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if they shake off that first map, win the series 2-1, or that map, I suppose, would have more likely been the decider. Maybe it never even gets to the decider. then I think they maybe do have the conversation to be like a 3-2 team.
Yeah,
in this stage. So, what's your guys' opinion on this? Stage 1, stay or go, and if it does stay, does it need to be all best of 3?
I'm obviously gonna say stay. It's not even about it's important for the ecosystem, because even with the stickers now, it just isn't. This is just if you don't like it, you can just look at this as a qualifier. It is just like what we used to have before. As
I could, but unfortunately, it's not. So I can't.
No, but it's just a qualifier with more coverage. That's not. I don't see what's negative about that, really.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that. I like that. I think it's cool to see these teams. It's cool for other people to see these teams. It's a nice scouting opportunity. Like the good players of Stage 1 on the teams that, you know, were maybe not supposed to be in the major, so to speak. A lot of them are probably not going to be on the teams that they're on right now, to be honest. And that's going to be an interesting way. That's an interesting way that the transfer season can shake out afterwards. So I don't mind it, but I do agree that like best of ones. This was we talked about this in the last episode, I think, which was the statistic from B-Trams. Every time there's been a game, like a best of 1 game between 2 teams that are 10 or more spots apart in BRS, the lower ranked side has a win rate of 42% in best of ones. With an 8% margin, it's a 50-50, and in a best of 3, it's only 27%. So, like for that Sinners FlyQuest game, FlyQuest were like decently lower ranked. It's obviously a bit different because it's different regions, but statistically speaking, they had a 42% chance of winning that game, and they won it in overtime. So I think it's safe to say that if that's a best of 3, Sinners should win. It's just like, and that's just one of the games. It goes for all of the games. It should be all best of 3s. The entire major should be best of 3s. I honestly don't see. I understand what they're saying with like we need more days, we need this and that. It's going to take a lot more time. Valve have just decided that these are the major dates. They've decided that there's going to be 3 Swiss stages. They can just decide that it's going to be a couple of more days, like,
which they need. I guess,
just like another couple of days. All of the games are best of 3s. If it costs more money, then fork up the money. Like, it's stupid that we have this many best of 1s,
especially when we don't have best of 1s for the rest of the year. Yeah. Like that, for me, is the more egregious part.
It feels like a remnant of a older time, you know. But
like you go back on like super old events, and it's best of 1s all over, and it's like they didn't even have overtime. If it was 12-12, it was like, that's a tie.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, I agree with Quacke's assessment that it's a good place for like new talent to kind of show themselves, and I think the entire time in the press room while I was there. The feeling was kind of like I kept on telling people, you know, this is not the best Counter-Strike to watch, but it is fun Counter-Strike to watch because there are like these interesting, like, it's also kind of part of the major to have like shit teams like Gaming Gladiators and to have these you know, crazy upsets in the first stage. Like we used to no listen we used to rave on about teams like Quantum Bellator Fire and Vega Squadron, and that those needed to be at the major because they were part of the major experience. I still think Stage 1 brings that in a sense, but I do agree that the best of 1s, they need to go because it's such a waste of time. I feel like
the best of 1s have always needed to go. Like, how many teams throughout major history have benefited and therefore made the major overall kind of worse because of the existence of best of 1s?
Exactly.
Like when we had the Inferno fucking jump bug, and it was like Penta or Big who benefited from that.
It was Big.
Like, what was that? Bug. PGL Krakow, I think.
Yeah.
Like QBF as well. Like, I feel like they must have benefited from fucking BO1s because they fucking sucked. Vega probably also did it, where they're just winning through fucking gimmick rounds. Like, I just think best of 1s fucking suck. I don't want to see them. And to be honest, like, I don't have much of an interest in Stage 1 either, because for me, like, I get what you're saying, Quack, about, like, Shark's fucking firepower. but what the fuck are half of these teams doing at a major? Like, if we're gonna do this big fucking 32 team major, just do like, we spoke about this before, I think, Quack, but like just do like the top 28 teams VRS, and then fucking give 2 fucking generosity slots to the Americas and Asia. Like,
Yeah.
Fuck the rest of it. I don't care past that. But let's talk about some more teams. Let's talk about NRG, because they had a legendary collapse in the final game of Stage 1, where they were 12-0 up on map 3 against Big, and they lost 16-12. Honestly, just a generational loss. We'll probably never see something like that again. Don't believe we ever saw it before. So, so Napz, you were there for it.
Yeah.
What was that like to experience in person?
It was very interesting because I mean, you know, it's 12-0, so, or like it at some point when NRG got 10-0 up or something, like, you know, all of the journalists slowly go down to the media zone and they start preparing their stuff for their interviews, the post-match and everything. And then the pistol comes around and they start winning, and they start winning more. And then all of a sudden you could kind of see everyone in the arena, from production to Dupree and Pimp, who were supposed to be on the desk, Stico as well, to all of the media people, just kind of all colluding together to these screens and watching what was going on, because they were just like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And I think around 12-6, 12-7, which is also what JDC said in the interview we did with him, is when everybody started believing, and everybody, including NRG, because you could just tell from their faces that they knew they had lost this. And you could just tell from Big's faces that they knew they'd won. And everybody kind of just dropped everything they were doing and started watching this comeback happen. It was, yeah, I don't know. It was weird to say, like, there was an atmosphere in a stage where there is no crowd, but there was definitely an atmosphere there.
It's one hell of a game. Has never happened, probably will never happen. I remember immediately when it happened, B-Trams, he didn't even say what it was about. He just posted, like, yes, that's a first, lol. And it was like, everybody knew what it's about. It's never happened. And, I mean, NRG are just horrible. I look at their entire stage, and it's just, like, their wins are worthless. And, because their wins are worthless. They beat Sinners. Eventual O3s in a best of 1. Then they beat FlyQuest barely in a best of 1. Like, lost to M80 in a domestic game, like in a Derby game, and then they had, like, if I was Nitro, I would retire. I would retire on the spot. I would go up to the desk, just grab a mic out of Dupree's hand or something, and just say, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm retiring." Like, I
won't
imagine
play
how
fucked anymore. They are, like, without him though. Like, who takes up IGLing then? Sonic?
And fucking everybody quits. Everybody leave.
Just disband. Just disband.
Sonic and Bro can go to better places, and the rest can just quit the game forever.
Oh,
like,
mate, do you know what though? Like, this, I think this game, it is, and just the entire NA region at this point is summed up for me by the comms that were captured from KRIMZ at the end of the half, where he just says, "One more round, hopefully we get it."
Yeah,
dude,
and he didn't even sound confident.
No,
didn't sound confident.
No,
it's pathetic. Like, it is actually pathetic. The NA region is a fucking joke. Like, M80, right? At least M80, you can see that they actually give a fuck. Like, you can see that they have some kind of belief that they can win fucking games. NRG have no belief that they can win anything fucking ever. It is embarrassing to just hear just this guy who's actually, been around Tier 1 CS now for 7 years, something like that? When did he join Liquid? Late 2019? KRIMZ joined Liquid?
Yeah, something like that.
It was 2020.
Early 2020?
2020, yeah.
2020, yeah.
So he's been around for 6.5 years or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And he still says, "One more round, hopefully we can get it. Haha, go on guys, we can do it." Like, the complete and utter, like, travesty of that, where, like, you compare it to fucking Astralis when they were like 12-0 down or whatever it was against Pain yesterday. Like, yeah, okay, this is the complete opposite end of the spectrum because they were 12-0 down. But like the Astralis guys were actually up for giving it a go. Like Fuzi was fucking screaming after they won the pistol, and on the other side, Pain, like you could tell they were ready for it. They were hyped up, but they were fucking drilled in for what was to come. NRG guys just seemed like laughing and nervous the whole time. Like the entire NA mentality is just it's so fucking cancerous to the idea of competition.
I noticed after the game, because I was standing next to where NRG was sat basically, and just seeing the differences in emotions on their faces was just so jarring to me, because clearly all of them should be completely devastated, right? Like, you know, they should all be at least not happy, possibly crying, and very angry at themselves. And I think the guy that was sat closest to me was Sonic, and Sonic was, you know, you could tell he was done. He was like pissed off, cleaning up his stuff, like he was done. And then Grim was also, he was sitting somewhere around the middle, and he was also like he also looked devastated. And then next to him is a Nitro, who still has a smile on his face for some reason. Yeah. And I don't know if that's just his default expression or not, but I was like, do you not realize what just happened to you? Like, you should be ashamed of what happened to you.
Yeah, like I get the whole like disbelief, if you don't laugh you'll cry bullshit, but like, yeah, no, it's pathetic. It really is pathetic. And in keeping with pathetic, and in keeping with North America being pathetic, Liquid also went out in this stage. I don't think any of us had any confidence that they would go through. But their final series was a fucking travesty. Charlie, if you can just pull up the page. No, their final series, Charlie. Right. Yep. Thank you. Cheers, mate. Right. Napz. I'm just going to give you the floor, mate, because I know you've got a lot to say, a lot of feelings about this game. You were posting about it for days afterwards. Yeah. It clearly made you quite upset, so go ahead.
Okay, so I don't present myself as someone who is the expert on Counter-Strike, right? Like, I keep an eye on Counter-Strike. I don't necessarily watch all of the matches. But I do know where to find someone's map pool and what maps they like to play, what they don't. It took me... I didn't follow the Veto live, but I sat down, I was preparing questions for the post-match interview, and I was like, okay, let me look at the Veto, see what they did. It took me all of 2 minutes to figure out that both FlyQuest and Liquid have Overpass as their permaban. Why does a team like Liquid decide to ban Overpass and float Anubis when clearly Anubis is FlyQuest's best map, and Overpass they don't even play? I don't understand how in the big 2026 Flashy and Shui come into the Veto not knowing that Overpass is also the permaban of FlyQuest. And then like the entire problem is like I think Leash talked about it after the game, because none of the other Liquid players wanted to do an interview, especially not Shui, which I understand because he fucked it up. But I read it afterwards, and Leash basically said, yeah, I wasn't involved in the Veto, but you know, we've never played Overpass before with this core, and we don't want to risk it. Arguably, a bigger risk is to be in the 2-2 pool of the Major, Stage 1, close to elimination, and to choose to allow your opponent to pick their best map. This is stupid to an amount I can't even quantify. And it pissed me off so much because I was like, you know, if it's some random shitter team that does this, fine, whatever, they might not be used to this. But these are people, like, Shui is, as much as people, like, doubt his leadership abilities, he is a grand finalist of a major. He's led a team to a major. you know, he's not stupid.
I feel like Imma shot his way to that grand final.
I mean, yes, but...
Yeah, but who told him to?
Exactly.
Ash.
Who told him Imma go kill?
Ash, probably.
Ash, in the nicest way, right? We'll do this bit just for you, Napz. We've done it a few times on this podcast. Right. So look at Shuey now on Liquid. Fucking sucks. Has sucked since he got there. And then look at... so before that, Shuey had Cyclone, the puppet master.
Yeah.
The actual puppet master, unlike Hallie, who's like his shit apprentice. And then before that, he had Ash, who is, like, as we all know, a very strong coach. I'm not sure Shuey is a very good IGL at all, actually.
Yeah, but this is my point. You don't have to be a good IGL to do a good veto.
No, but I think...
Any idiot. No. Any idiot can go on HLTV, can look at the stats page of a team...
You've clearly never seen Jack do a veto. He's an awful at a veto.
But yeah, I don't know. I just don't get it. And afterwards just saying like, yeah, but we didn't want to risk playing Overpass. I really don't think FlyQuest would have picked Overpass.
No, I don't think they would either. But I get it because I think this is a Liquid team that's just very scared. I think it's a Liquid team that's scared of their own shadow, like of being on a server at all. I mean, Charlie put out a tweet, Charlie, if you want to bring it up. So FlyQuest doing this project qualification bullshit, right? And FlyQuest's own contributions to this, because there was a few specifics on what would make them adopt a panda. Some bollocks.
Koala.
Winning a map was part of it. Yeah, koala. Sorry. Fucking pandas are just the elite ones. Koalas are just like the dumb cousin.
They all have HIV or whatever.
It's chlamydia.
Chlamydia.
Yeah.
It's chlamydia.
Very funny.
Yeah. So FlyQuest would have adopted 15 koalas from their own contributions. Liquid have won one LAN map against the top 20 team in the past 6 months. Like, this is a team that is so scared. And that's why I understand that they then banned Overpass, especially when it's like, well, FlyQuest have played it as a core and we haven't. But at the same time, stop being fucking pussies.
Yeah.
Just stop being pussies. Like, it's not hard. Like, okay, but you're also, like, very experienced. For the most part, like, Shuey's Gamer Legion was good on Overpass. Surely he has some, like, retention of, like, how to call at least, like, a slightly puggy game. They'll know the util for the most part. Like, Elige was a very good Overpass player. Naf has always been pretty good on Overpass. Like, Ultimate's not good on any map. It doesn't matter. And just tell Malbs to go around the corner and shoot something in the fucking throat. Like, it's what he's good at. Like, they're just fucking pussies. And it's a lame excuse because I think, you know, it's something that an actually elite team, like, if you look at all the, like, Vitality Furia vetoes, because obviously they've been quite wacky for a while. Like, we've seen them play Ancient a couple times, and both teams have it as their permaban. A team that isn't scared just floats it, and if FlyQuest pick it, fucking great, we'll just have a fucking slugfest. And listen, guys, if you'd have done that, you would have had a better chance than you did on Anubis, because you guys fucking sucked on Anubis.
Because this is the thing, right? Like, worst case scenario, they pick Overpass. You have to play Overpass, even though you don't know it. But both teams don't know Overpass, right? Because they don't really play it. And then you get to start on CT side, which is also preferable on Overpass, I would say. Instead of just getting shit on an Anubis and then carrying that momentum into map 2 and getting shit on Inferno as well. It's like, this is why this veto just really doesn't make sense to me. But like you said, it's probably because they are pussies. Like, they're scared to take risks. And if you play it this safe, then you just get eliminated out of the major.
Yeah, they're obviously very scared. Because, like, Elige mentioned that he's like, he said that they played Overpass once in the last 3 months. So that's why we shouldn't float Overpass. But, like, the only thing which has been talked about FlyQuest in 2026 is that they aren't practicing because half the team lives in Europe and half the team lives in Australia. It's not like they have this, like, trick up their sleeve in Overpass that they've practiced in secret ahead of the major, because they haven't fucking practiced at all. What the fuck are you scared of? Like, just go to it. Just go to Overpass.
And even then, like the one game they played against on Overpass FlyQuest, it was. Let me try and find it. But it was against some shitter team. No, Alter Ego. Do you know who's on Alter Ego?
Yeah, Boros and Gratisfaction, Bentet's
Boros,
been on
Gratisfaction,
I believe Gratisfaction left recently, actually.
Yeah. Like, they don't even have a full roster on HLTV anymore. But basically, Bentet and Boros are the two most notable names that are still on that team. So if this is Liquid, this Liquid roster saying, we are worse than Alter Ego, number 122 in the world, so we won't play Overpass.
And Alter Ego won that map as well. It's not like FlyQuest played it and lost. Like,
yes, they played Overpass once against a shitter team with people that aren't relevant anymore.
Yeah,
and they lost it. Like,
elite. Do you know what the funny thing is about all of this? Is that my show notes say, where do Liquid go from here? And we spoke about this before, Quack. We did this last week. I believe I've spoken about it with Jack as well when Passion UA went up for sale. I'm not going to do it again. Because I no longer care if they sign Crimbo. I no longer believe they should sign JT and Try, because I don't think it changed anything. I think you're looking at a team of 5 pussies who, regardless of who you take out and who you put in, are still going to play like pussies, are still going to have zero fucking confidence, and are still just going to embarrass themselves every time they connect to a server. So with that, Charlie, let's go to an ad break.
Alright, so let's take a quick pause before we get back into Jack overanalyzing banana control.
It's not overanalysis, it's insight. There's layers to this, man. Come on.
Not with you, son. But we should probably mention our sponsor, Raise.com.
Ah, yes, the place where all that I've definitely got to read on this game confidence can actually be tested.
If you're already watching the matches and calling everything in your head or out loud like you unfortunately tend to do, it just gives you a way to lean into it a bit more.
And to be fair, it is pretty straightforward. You can dip in, back what you think is going to happen, and then get back to shouting at your screen.
Which, let's be honest, Jack, for you, it's probably just going to happen anyway.
Yeah, but this just makes it feel a little bit more intentional.
Yeah, so if you, like Jack, require more excitement, he also tends to do it with Viagra, you should check out Raise.com. It is the site for you.
Back your favourites, trust your Rees, and there's other games with a little bit extra riding on it.
Anyway, Raise.com. Give it a look if you think you know better than Jack. You probably do.
You probably do.
Okay, so we're back. I've probably just told you to bet some money in an ad, and a week ago I would have told you to bet that money on Gamer Legion. This is why we say that this is not financial advice, and you shouldn't listen to me, because I am apparently, thanks to Gamer Legion, a fucking idiot. Quack, I know you have some feelings about Gamer Legion. I also have some feelings, but I'll let you go first. What the fuck went wrong with Gamer Legion at this major?
They lost to Astralis. Honestly, I think I was talking about this on my other show. It starts there.
Which is
your other show?
Your other show is what, sorry?
Retake the Week with King T.
And where would I find that if I wanted to watch it?
On YouTube, and King T's YouTube channel. Go check
Fantastic.
it out immediately after this episode. Yeah, I didn't want to make the plug overt, Sam, but thank you for
No. It's T.
Me.
T gets an overt plug. He's one of the only people.
Yeah, all right.
It's because I want to have sex with him. To be clear.
Yeah, I heard you were in London the other week. Anyway,
yeah, I was trying to get him really drunk.
But basically we were saying that, like, it starts with losing to Astralis, because they get kind of fucking destroyed by Astralis, and knowing how the rest of the stage went for Astralis, that's not exactly a good look. Because then they go into the Bet Boom one. It's a little bit chaotic with the Bet Boom. We don't really know what they're doing with their roster. I think Bet Boom are a very hard team to prep for, and it whiplashed from losing 4-13 to Astralis. You go straight into a best of one against Bet Boom. It's gonna be rough. So I don't really blame Gamer Legion for losing to Bet Boom there. And then it is just this bait game, and bait are like, they're as persistent as like chewing gum on your shoe. Like, you can't fucking get rid of bait. There's no way to beat bait in less than 24 rounds in a map. I feel like they are just, every map is a 13-11, and you know, bait win 2 of those in this series. But the thing, like, the individual games, I look at them and I'm like, yeah, that's a losable game for Gamer Legion, unfortunately. But it all starts with this Astralis loss, and it's just way too much.
I kind of want to go against that though. I don't think it starts with the Astralis loss. Like, I want to go further back, and I want to look at stage 1, right, or perhaps even further than. Let me cook. Right,
1995.
They opened the stage against NRG, who were bad. We've all just said they are bad.
Horrible.
13-10. Does that say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very small on my screen. Not great. FlyQuest, who I think we all think are kind of bad, who haven't practiced. 13-11. They then lose to BetBoom. I can't remember the individual map scores in that.
13-8, 13-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they get bummed by BetBoom. Like, Boom, it just bends them over and gives them the full weight of his past self.
Yeah, I wanted to say that's a BetBoom that has, first of all, Flamus, you know, who's on fire, and second of all, Boomich, who just decides he wants to make it to stage 2. So.
Yeah, and then they beat Big, who we'll talk about Big in a little bit. I'm not sure how legitimate of a win against Big actually is, but you know, they then get bodied by Astralis, who looked pretty fucking terrible in stage 2. Again, we'll talk about them. Lose to BetBoom again, but this is the most rounds they got against them in an individual map. And then they lose to Bait, right? Who, personally, I don't think Bait are a bad team at all, but I don't think Bait are ever doing what Gamer Legion just did at their 2 previous events. Now, this says a few things to me. It's kind of an either-or situation. Gamer Legion got too cocky after a semi-final and a grand final appearance. Or their strat book was never actually that deep. Even though they barely played this year, they took a long break before coming back to Tier 1, their strat book was never actually that deep. Their playbook, you know, it was quite limited. And because of how they'd done, the teams had studied them a reasonable amount, and they just got, you know, completely anti-stratted in everything they played.
I have something to support your theory, because after the Gamer Legion big match in stage 1, I talked to Snax, actually, after he went to the toilet, because he really had to pee. And we talked about... No problem. This is the color I add to my event reports. But
did he wash his hands?
I hope so.
He
changed into a sweater, which made it more interesting to look at.
I have seen pro players at LAN not wash their hands after going to the bathroom. It's quite unnerving.
It's quite a lot, actually. But anyway, Napz add his Sam, we've added enough.
Just a reminder that you need to wash the microphone every time you interview a player. Okay. But I talked to him after...
Shoving it up them.
Guys, I'm trying to tell a story.
Yeah, Poosy lad. Sorry you just got battered by pain. Could you bend over for me, please? Jack said you've got a tattoo that says ride, so I just wanted to see what that meant. What? Friend of the podcast.
Stop!
Right. Cannon Monster done to death.
Yeah.
Anal.
Anal, yeah. Would you be open to it?
So are you a cats and dogs person? Oh, yeah, that's good. Do you like anal? Are you a taker?
Take
I got news for you.
All right, just bend over and
you
cough
interviewed
for me.
Snax.
I interviewed Snax, yes. And asked him to bend over. No. Okay.
And it gaped for me. A large cavern.
Oh, come on, please.
Stop. You gotta stop. Can we do another ad break or something?
No. You can
Okay.
go.
I talked to Snax. I did not talk about his.
And so can Snax up and down for a lot.
I did not talk about his rectum. Keep it together, guys. Come on. And I don't even remember what I was gonna say at this point.
Something about Game Legion being anti-strategy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I talked about the overtime on Overpass, and he kind of mentioned that. I asked him like, how do you deal with the overtime? You know, like how do you get your nerves back, and how do you mentally reset yourself? Blah blah blah. And he said, yeah, at some point I just kind of told the team and the coach like, okay, guys, let's stop using the strat book. Let's kind of play off of my feeling as an experienced player, right? And so I think that kind of supports the idea of maybe they didn't expand their strat book enough to be a surprise again to teams, and teams kind of just prepared for them better than before. And then the reason they won was because they played shit teams and because of it. No.
I've just looked at Sam. I can't. Like, what's going on?
Keep it together. I'm sorry.
So I feel like they made it out of stage 2, not necessarily
Through the
on
power
the depth
of sodomy.
Exactly. Not necessarily on the depth of their strat book.
Their depth.
Their strat book was only 3 inches deep.
On the expansiveness of their strat book.
Oh
but
no,
on personal,
they lubed up and did some stretches before.
But on like personal performance and personal, knowledge, I guess.
Yeah,
Quack, anything to add about Game Legion? Preferably not sodomy related.
I think we've added enough. We've added enough.
They're fully stuffed. They're fully stuffed.
Okay, brilliant. I did actually have a final point about Game Legion. I'm gonna be sensible now, right? Because there's a couple of teams that have gone out in stage 2 that we'll talk about maybe needing roster changes. You know, we just did the same bit with Liquid as well. Do you think? Because I don't at all. I think this is still a team I believe in. Do you think Game Legion, because of this result, will look at their team or should look at their team and think, yeah, okay, we need something extra or something different?
No. I think they have what they need. Towson is very good for the positions he plays. Rez, as much as this major was maybe a little bit of a letdown, his season is still really good. We just talked about how Hypex has stepped up. PR, I think, has stepped down a bit over the course of the year. He had a couple of really good games here at the major, but like over the course of the year, he's not as good as he's been touted before. But like, Mouse still have that buyback option, and they need somebody for the next season. Teams will definitely be looking at PR. I'm kind of happy with how Snax has played. I do feel like if a change happens, it's because somebody buys PR. And if nobody buys PR, then they should just carry on with this roster. I think if somebody does buy PR, there's a small chance you might be able to find an upgrade for PR. But like, it's because I think he's like.
Who would you look at in that instance?
I'd kind of like Malo 9. Like, imagine Mouse buys PR.
Charlie, get on ready.gg.
Oh no, this is when I get found out.
Bring up the roster simulator. Let's test Tier 2 boy on his Tier 2 knowledge.
I think they'll have to move him around a little bit, but it's like it's a closer for a closer.
Click the just Tier 1 thing, otherwise Mail won't show up.
Yeah.
Right now.
So team Game
Legion.
Legion.
Game Legion. No, this needs to say Game Legion. Right, get PR. Swap in Malo 9. Let's see if you're an idiot, Quack.
The one thing is that he's not an anchor, really. He's more of a rotator.
I think you can just type with that one to get mail.
Oh Marcos. Good player.
Oh my god, who are these bums?
Aid Kit.
8-Kit.
What is an aid kit?
What a nickname. What a nickname.
He's a
Despite
Macedonian.
what is an aid kit other than what players will need after TLDR has interviewed them?
The TLDR 8-Kit with lube in it.
Bro, Charlie's really struggling here, man. I feel bad for asking him to do it now. So, I just want to...
We appreciate you, Charlie.
Bro, I swear you literally, if you just type random things, it will come up. I swear.
I think it just...
I swear!
doesn't...
Hey! Move rating 5. Why? Question mark. Good job, Quack.
But roll fit 67, you know.
I mean, fucking...
Could be worse.
King T has told me that this would kind of work if you moved them around a little bit, and I'll trust that. I will trust that.
I think it.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, it probably has more to do with the T-side rolls. Yeah.
I think he mostly you have to move him around, but it's not entirely different. You can make this work. No. This is a move that you can.
Yeah, no, you absolutely can make it work.
Yeah, I'd like that. And I think Melo 9 is better than PR, so I think that would be nice.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't get the hype with PR myself. I think any team that does buy him, because he probably has a sizable buyout, will probably regret the Quack.
No,
something funny there. Okay. Well, let's move on then. Let's move on to a team that were perhaps even more disappointing. Kind of like a TLDR interview without anal sex. Astralis, who, in fitting with anal sex, did get bummed at this event. They looked terrible, and I believe actually are the team with the lowest T-side win rate at a major. They were absolutely abhorrent on T-sides. I think it's something like a 16% T-side round win rate. Really sucked. Were awful in their final match against Pain. So, I think because we've spoke about Astralis a few times, pull up that tweet, Charlie. We've spoke about Astralis a few times on this podcast, and I've said, I don't really get Ryu. I don't really rate him. Personally, I'd kick if I was Astralis and I wanted to be really ambitious. I'd be saying to Jim Fat, here's a blank check. What do you want? I know Luz on his show with Thorin suggested booting Ryu, putting Stare into Ryu's roles, and signing Blame F. But obviously, when you look at these stats and how bad they did on T side, that suggests maybe something is in fact wrong with the leadership. I know Fuzi also struggled. He had a terrible event. He's sucked in his last couple of events, unfortunately. So there's a lot of problems with Astralis right now. So Quack, if you were Astralis, what would you be doing? Because it feels like this lineup has run its course.
Before you go into that, I looked up Gaming Gladiators T-side round win percentage, and that is 19%. So they did indeed have the worst.
The worst T-side. but Astralis had a decent CT side win rate, so or at least better than.
The rank disparities between their CT and T sides are hilarious.
Yeah, Gaming Gladiators have the worst overall of any Swiss stage all time.
Yeah.
It's Jesus. But yeah, no, it's true. I think you can pick a bunch of hosts in the Astralis lineup. I'm a Hooksy believer. I have been for a long time. And I don't see anybody stepping up who is definitely going to be better. It's not like we have some in-game leader out there who's as Shui was once upon a time, banging on the door trying to break into one of these teams. It's not like we have one of those lining up. You'd have to make a move for somebody like an LNZ maybe, but I'm not even sure he would want to make that move because I think MIBR are just close enough. Even with this major, I think they're just close enough to the level that Astralis are at, where if he can keep Insani or kl1m for next season, I think he'd be better off staying there. But anyway, that's besides the point. Hooksy's staying, Fuzi's staying. I don't think you can do much better. As much as he's dipped a bit, I think he's very good. Yabi is I don't know about Yabi. I don't know. I feel like he's up and down. When he's good, but I also don't really feel like he's the guy winning them these games because that is Stare. Stairs winning them, and Ryu, I feel like, is just kind of here. He's just kind of on the team. So I'd probably look at replacing Ryu. Unironically, this is one that Ready.gg actually thinks is a good one. His Melo 9 for Ryu. But that I don't think is going to happen. I don't think quite could happen. But
It'd be interesting.
It would be interesting, yeah. But we'll see about that. I think there's a lot of other places you could go to there as well. But I think maybe you just look at Ryu. And also, honestly, I for a long time I've asked, like, why has Rugga been on Astralis for so long? And
I think he's very easy to criticise at this point.
He is. Well, you could do with a freshening up there. Maybe that's all you need. Maybe that you need a fresh pair of eyes. Maybe fucking Heroic don't really seem to be working out with Tobiz. Maybe he would fit Hooksy better. What the fuck do I know? Like, you could pick any combination. Usually, like, the combination is the tricky part, and that's what matters. Maybe there's a better combination out there for Hooksy. But yeah, it's there's things you can do. Of course, there's Mighty Max in the lineup now. So
I think it's just such a difficult one. It's such a difficult one to pinpoint what is the problem you actually want to change, because this T-side win rate here is like the absolute extreme of how bad it's been. But T-sides have been a problem for Astralis on a number of occasions, which does, to me at least, suggest that either Hooksy or Rugga needs to go. I have always believed in Hooksy, but I'm not, dead set on him. I think you can get better. I'd certainly be interested in seeing KRIMZ instead, if that was a possibility. Ryu, I don't think that one's worked out at all. I mean, if you look at his event history and just the steady decline after the solid start in Krakow, like, that's a very worrying trend. It's clear he's not, at least in these roles, cut out for this level. Yabby, I'll always criticise Yabby. He's a chinless cunt. And just a cunt. And yeah, like you said with Yabby, when he's good, he's great. But it's so often that he's not. And Stare, like, this is where I actually do agree with Luz. I don't think Stare is a star player. I think he has games where he is a star, sure. But I think if you put a player with decent mechanics in the system where he is set up in the way Stare is set up in this one, you're going to get those fucking games. Like, you're going to. I'm just not sure he is that guy. I'd prefer to see him be the fourth best player on a team. At absolute best, the third best player on a team. And yeah, if you could get someone like Blame F, it would be, I'm sure, much better. So it's hard. I think there's so many things you could do. The first one I would do is get rid of Ryu, whether that's for someone like Melo 9, or whether it's for a player like Jim Fat and you shift some things around, who knows. But I think if you still then don't see any uptick, well, you've got to look at Rugga or Hooksy, I think. Because Stare also, as much as I don't believe him in as a star, he isn't bad enough to not be one either. Like, he's just this middle ground where he's like, yeah, he's fine, but you're never going to push on with him. But you also, you want to raise the floor before you work on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Napz, have you got any thoughts on Astralis?
I kind of agree with your assessment of things. Where, like, or both of your assessments of things, where, like, there's many combinations of players you can think of, but if the T-side, like, win rate is this low, then there is, like, a problem somewhere on the strategic side, and not necessarily on the which stars are where and which players are playing which roles side. So I would be looking at changing up the leadership, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's talk about FlyQuest in a little bit of detail then, because obviously they did scrape through to Stage 2 and then had a complete snapback to reality by going out 0-3 in Stage 2. And for me, it's just caused some degree of frustration, because And I'll go back to the Regali lineup when they first brought JKS in, because I thought it then, and I still think Story and Regali, like you're just swapping heads for tails. Like it's the most sideways move of all time. I do believe this FlyQuest team could be competitive. I think the overall scene is better now, and JKS is worse, and that's a big factor. So you're never going to get like peak Renegades level competitiveness or 100 Thieves, wherever the peak came. I can't remember. You're not going to get that out of them, but I think they certainly can show up now on an international level, and they just because of the practice time, they just capitulated. And I don't know if I'm the only one thinking that they actually could be competitive.
Yeah, maybe, but I think also, like, if you look at their stage 1 performance, right? Just kind of going back to that, like, are we also maybe just giving them more credit than it's due? Because the way they qualified is interesting. They won against Thunder Down Under, right? Once they actually started winning stuff, except for that first game against Sinners, but we talked about that. That could be best of 1 upset. But they won against Thunder Down Under, which is a team they know from their region, and also just a team with a truck driver, an Intel ambassador, and an observer on it. And then they win against Liquid, which I already ranted about, like, just kind of decided to not want to win that day. So, yeah, they barely scraped by to stage 2. But I think that's also relevant in, like, how much credit I want to give them and how competitive I want to rank them.
Yeah, but you can only beat what's in front of you, I guess. I just, like...
Yeah.
I don't know, I think this FlyQuest, and again, the same with the Regali JKS one, is, like, the only FlyQuest I've seen in years that I think actually has the solid foundations. And I do think it's a bit of a shame that they don't get to explore those foundations a little bit more. I still think, like, Vexite sucks as soon as you get him outside of stage 1 of a major.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I think the talent's there. Quack?
Talent is there. Vexite and Medic, like, if you can shoot, you can shoot. It's also true that they played 0, like, in light of what we've just said about all the teams in the major, they played 0 good teams in the first stage, I would say. They played Gamer Legion, but that was a loss anyway. And, Gamer Legion then went 0-3 as well in the next stage. So, in light of that, it's like they got handed the Thunder Down Under game, and then Liquid fucked up the veto so hard, where it's like, out of all the teams that progressed from stage 1, I think FlyQuest should get the least credit for doing so, to be honest. Because what the fuck did they do? They beat Sinners in a best of 1 they should have lost if it was a best of 3. And then 2 losses in best of 1s, and then they get handed to 2 best of 3s that they kind of win, not because they did anything, but because of who they played. And how those games went from their side. And then as soon as they go into the stage, they play 9Z and Legacy. Those are decent teams, and then Pain aren't exactly that good, but they're definitely better than FlyQuest, and they get that done because they're a real team. They actually practice. So I think if you just figured out the practice here, if you fucking, this is, again, it's so fucking dumb. Why do you run a team? Why do you run a team when you can't have them practice because they live on opposite sides of the planet? FlyQuest should just do it properly or not at all. Just move. If you can't move Netic and Ins or whoever it is that doesn't want to move to Europe, Vexite maybe. If you can't do that, then just fucking, like, not necessarily like boot the players, but like figure something out, like, or do boot the players, get Europeans. Like, as long as you have, like, there's. I don't get why they're trying to run this sort of half measure of a team. And if it's money, well, like, we don't have the money, then move all of them back to Australia. If it's, whatever the fuck. Or just fucking get rid of this team and get a cheaper team if you can't afford to run it properly. It's just, they're running a horrible team and they're wasting, like, Vexite and Netic. If you put them on a squad with a good support system, AIM is AIM. They're gonna do good. Like, they would be better. But, like, FlyQuest at the moment just aren't really doing that, so it's It's a shame. JKS, I think you still get really good stuff out of. They have Azure as a coach, which I think was an improvement. Story has played better than I thought he was going to do on FlyQuest. And then Ince has always been able to hang at this level, I would say, to the degree that any Australian team or player could. So you have all the pieces. It is just like pretty much everything around it seems like it's just failing. The only thing they have going for them is that they have good merch, to be honest. That's the only good thing about FlyQuest.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but it's perhaps not quite as frustrating as MIBR, who also went out in this stage. They went out 1-3. Which is why I hate MIBR. I hate them. I really do. I hate Pain. I hate MIBR. I'm not big on Legacy. I just don't like Brazilian teams because they always let you fucking down. They always let you down. And like Quack, you'll be feeling this especially because obviously you wrote that lovely little preview piece for them in the newsletter a week or so ago, and they just let you down. They always do it. They are better than any other region for doing this, and I think now especially that they're most likely losing kl1m, because I think he'll have too much interest to warrant sticking with MIBR, even if MIBR get an accepted offer on the table. I just hope Insani gets to escape this team because Insani is legit. My concern, though, is that he needs to escape the team too soon. Because I think...
What do you mean exactly by that?
Well, so I think if, Fallen retires and they decide Yukindar is the IGL and Yukindar's willing to make some sacrifices as an IGL, Insani is the most obvious fucking pickup for Furia. Yeah. But that's 6 months away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his English is solid enough. Maybe he could go international. Like, Quack, you got any hope for Insani getting out of the MIBR vortex?
You mean it's too soon? Like he's gonna get out of MIBR immediately post Cologne, so like he misses the window.
Yeah, like if he gets a move from this, let's say he goes to Pain, for instance, whose buyout's going to be fucking 84 million fucking. I can't remember the Brazilian currency, but it's going to be a lot.
I think, yeah.
Possibly. I was going to say pesos, but that's Mexico, right?
Racist.
Well, whatever. Like if he does this is the problem.
It is
unless he makes a move to a top European team, I don't see why Insani should leave MIBR. But also, I want Insani to leave MIBR.
I get what you mean. Yeah. I think on paper, like kind of what I wrote there in that piece is that on paper MIBR are better than everybody else from their region. I would say they have all the pieces they need. They have everything they need to be the best. But like if you excluding Furia, obviously, because they're the ones they're chasing. Legacy don't have an offer anywhere near kl1m, and I would say Insani is equal or better to like Legacy's. Maybe not better, but like he's definitely up there with Duma and Lato. I think their support system is solid, and I would say LNZ is a caller who can kind of match up to Art, at least on paper. And you go down the list, it's the same. Like Big Uzera have a strong IGL, sure, but they have no Opper, and their riflers are not really all there. You go down the list, and this is sort of what you find. Even if you go back in time, like if you look at all of the previous projects, basically since Fallen's MIBR lineup died, all of them have sort of similar issues. They have weak Oppers, they have weak riflers, and MIBR have, they're one leg up on all of those teams by having kl1m and Insani. So this is again one of these where like something's not really working out. I don't necessarily think it's leadership here. I think LNZ's system fits MIBR quite well. It's quite loose. It's the kind of thing that Heroic could only really pay, like they could only really benefit from LNZ's system when they had Tanir. But MIBR have players who can benefit from that system all the time. So fits great. Seems to work well with Letni. So then I think something's wrong here. And I'm worried about wherever kl1m does end up. I'm worried that we'll see like 6 months or a year where he like gets to travel to a lot more tier 1 events, but like he drops a bad performance in each of them. until he finally gets unlocked, because I think maybe there is like a pressure barrier there. And Insani had every reason to leave MIBR for like the past 2 years, but didn't. And now he's on this MIBR lineup, where I think, if nothing else, more than ever before, it makes sense to stay. But he's also, like, he obviously should go. Like, he obviously should be on Furia. He should be on Furia, 100%.
I was about to say, is there a reason for Insani to stay when it's likely for kl1m to leave?
I would still say yes, to be honest.
Literally the only reason is to just bide your time until Furia come knocking.
Yeah, but I think you could do a lot worse than that. Even if you toil away in like PGL, Swiss stages, and Asia championships for a while, I think you're still doing good there. MIBR would be very happy if he did that. I think MIBR should be very happy if Insani stays another 6 months.
Sure.
Yeah.
A team that shouldn't be very happy though is M80.
Yeah.
They went out, also 1-3. It's kind of tough for them because they haven't been great internationally recently, so I didn't have much expectation. But they were obviously the last hope for NA representatives at this major. So I don't want to talk about M80 themselves too much, and rather the NA scene in general. But they were the last hope for NA in this major. Now that they're out, it would be the first time that an NA representative has not been in the top 16 of a Valve-sponsored major. And this feels like the real death of the fucking NA scene. Like, this is the final nail in the coffin. Because, like, the weird thing with M80 is I wouldn't make a change to them. And in fact, I would probably look to buy parts of M80. Like, I've said for ages, if I was FaZe, I'm taking fucking Lake, Sin and Slax tomorrow.
Really?
Like, yeah, fuck it. That core with Twists and Frozen should be great.
Yeah.
Like, that could be really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm not that high on JBA. I'm really not that high on Swisher.
Yeah, that's kind of the angle I wanted to go for. Is Swisher was one of the better performers of Stage 1. I have the stats up now. He dropped 1.27 rating in Stage 1 and then just shat the bed in Stage 2 and was the worst rated player at 0.71.
But this is the thing, like, NA teams cannot compete at this level anymore. And when you look at the players that aren't on these teams, where'd you go? Passion UA don't have Americans. Liquid, like, their 2 Americans are definitely at the end of their careers. Like, Twists, he has no interest in this scene. So what do you think? Like, Producer Charlie's bringing it wildcard, but fuck it, none of these players are going to. They aren't going to perform if you put that. They aren't going to perform any better if you put them in Major Stage 2 in place of M80. They aren't going to rock the boat for any other NA team. I mean, Rec is a fucking M80 reject. So's Hexed. Not that they should have got rid of Hex, but that's a different thing.
Hexed would hang in Stage 2 and did hang in Stage 2 just before M80 removed him. I think they went to Stage 2.
No.
And he was good.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's not moving the needle. Like, M80 are not making Stage 3 even if they had Hexed.
Yeah. None of those 3 Americans, North Americans, are going to move the needle for any NA team.
Yeah.
Like, the NA region is dead.
Yeah.
It's dead, and I'm not sure it can revive unless we have I was talking to Ty about this once. Ty being a guy who used to work on TLDR for the uninitiated. Very heavily involved in the NA scene. Used to play on a lot of, like, semi-pro teams. And he was saying how, like, America has obviously been through this before. If you don't know your history, then during Counter-Strike Source there was something called CGS, which had a lot of money pumped in. It was on American television. All the players went out to LA, I believe. They're all put up in houses and fucking playing. But CGS was ultimately a failed venture. After CGS, because of the money that was lost, a lot of American players retired, which is where you see that kind of like mentor fucking young player link just completely break. Wasn't many of those. So NA had to rebuild from the ground up, essentially. And ultimately it did that, but there were still some older figures around to help that process. And there was also the CS skins / gambling boom, which really benefited NA. We then get to COVID time, Valorant comes out, the same thing happens again, except it's probably even less, even fewer mentor figures that are left this time around. So how does NA build itself back up this time? What is going to be the cultural boom that affects CS2 when we've now got so much limitation on gambling within CS? So what is actually going to cause? How many streamers have to decide they're going to play CS for 6 months in order for NA to have another golden generation? Because I don't think it's possible. I think the NA region is dead. I think it's gone. I don't think it will ever come back, and I think we will now see probably all the majors that we know of. I don't think there will be an NA core in the top 16 for any one of those majors.
I'm inclined to agree. Yeah.
That's 5 majors, by the way. We know of 5 majors currently.
Yeah. So that's a few years. No,
like,
but
I'll give a representative because Twist will get there. He will.
Yeah, and there will be another like M80 and another, well, I want to say NRG, but they did shit. But there will be another M80 basically that makes it to a second stage and that maybe gets a little bit further.
But they won't make it to top 16. They won't do it.
No.
And I don't think Liquid will either.
No, fuck no.
I'm not even sure Liquid would with JT and Tri, by the way.
I honestly don't think Liquid, like the only way Liquid starts becoming good again is if they drop the entire NA thing, NA core, and just decide to go for European. They're based in Europe anyways. They might as well.
Yeah, but you kind of have to be.
I mean, yeah, but like this is the thing. Like all of these organizations feel the obligation to pander to the NA scene, but they're like, if there is no NA scene to pander to, like how do you represent a scene that doesn't exist or that's actively dying?
Do you know what I've been asking for, I think 6 years now, since the pandemic, when we've heard so much about Liquid and Cloud9 and all of their messaging about how much they care about the North American scene, how much they want to invest in it, and how important their representation is, etc., etc., etc. When was the last time you saw an American Academy team? I can't think of one. I've like a North American Academy team. Cloud9 and Liquid.
Well, technically it would be the EG projects, wouldn't it?
It would be them. It would be them. And if you look at that, those players are around. Those players were decently successful and have been afterwards. Like there's a bunch of those players who are still around. Like even it's not just Hexed, who everybody will think of, but like players like Clausia and Walco are still around. They're still playing. George and Junior are still playing. They're still around in the local scene. They are now like at the forefront. Junior is like the second best North American opera at the moment. Still behind OC. You could argue he's even better. And like these players are still around. That was, as much as we clown on EG and as much as we clown on that org in general, that team kind of worked. It kind of worked. It's the own, like, why hasn't there ever been a Liquid Academy or a Cloud9 Academy if they care so much about, like, if they want to pander so much to the American scene? It wouldn't even fucking be expensive. You don't even have to fucking pay them. You don't even have to pay. Like, find a bunch of American 16 to 18-year-olds. You could do it fucking like high school level if you wanted to. That's big in America, high school sports. You could easily do some shit like that. You don't even have to pay them. Just pay their league fees into ESA Advanced or whatever, and like maybe fly them out to one Fragadelphia. Like that's not even that much. You get so much goodwill. You would get so much goodwill out of the American region, and you might actually get some decent players out of it. Because now instead you're trusting fucking Marsborn to do this job instead, or Sports Bet Expert to premier North American Counter-Strike organizations. That's who you're trusting for player development, and that is like I don't even dislike Marsborn that much. I think they have like 3 players who probably could have been good players at some point in the future, but they're on fucking Marsborn instead of on Cloud9 Academy or Liquid Academy. And it makes no fucking sense why we don't have it. We've never had a North American Academy squad aside from EG. Never. All of this fucking pandering, and that's what they do. And it just pisses me off because it would have been, it would have been so, I dare say it would have been so fucking easy. And they just don't do it.
Yeah, I do agree that, like, yeah, this would have been the easiest way to, like, if no one is developing talent for you, then develop it yourself by, doing what other teams in Europe have done and, getting an academy team. Whether or not that is because there used to be an academy, like, track, I guess, with WePlay. But even then, right now, like, it's still churning out talent for these European teams. But part of the problem is also that there's this kind of vicious cycle of there's not enough tournaments in NA to warrant like big teams. So there is no big team. So players don't really see a future in Counter-Strike. So they don't decide to organize big tournaments. And, it just keeps going. It spirals down to kind of destroying the NA scene. We're like, yeah, what interesting tier 2 equivalent to European CS, because that's important. Tournaments are there. Not really. Like NA Pro League is, I think I talked to a few players about what's wrong with the NA scene, and they all mentioned NA Pro League disappearing is just part of the biggest part of the problem.
Yeah.
And Elige said this, like any new player in NA right now, I don't blame him if he's good at a first person shooter. I don't blame him for going to Valorant because there is no future in Counter-Strike. Yeah. So even if you get like an academy of players, there's nothing to feed them into, and I feel like that's also a big part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean it's a whole separate issue, right?
But and then that's what I wonder about. Like, I thought this was where we're going at first. Quack is all of these NA teams complain about the fact that there are no like good NA like regular tournaments, right? The tournaments are just not at the same level as in Europe. This would be the perfect case for NA orgs to start up a franchise league, just to get their own tournaments going. It's like, if you're not having the tournaments you want, organize them yourself, right? Sit down with Cloud9, Complexity, whatever organizations you want. They have money. They have other games they earn money from. Be like, okay, we're investing for the 5 next years. We're investing in the future of NACS.
VRS would kill it.
Yeah, that's
the issue.
Problem.
You can't do it in VRS.
You can't do a franchise league. You could do franchise agreements for like funding, but they still have to be ranked highly enough or qualified through open qualifiers to play. Like ESL do, they're like, because that's an agreement that they have. Like at the start of the season, a bunch of teams sign the agreement to get extra money for participating in ESL events, like a rewards program. You can do that. But yeah,
I mean, but does that even matter? Because
what
honestly,
about this,
with the way things are right now, right? Sorry, I'm just gonna finish my point real quick. With the way things are right now, you're doing shit in majors anyways. So what does VRS matter? Like, it's a long-term investment you would be making if you were to go with like a franchise.
like Liquid, it's fucking depressing. If when you go on the HLTV ranking and you go to North America, you go 2022. It's the same fucking players. It's the same fucking players who are 21 to 24 now, who were like prime age to be on a tier 1 team's academy side in 2022. And if there was a Cloud9 and or a Liquid academy at that point, then we would have had maybe a player like a Darty or a Grizz. Or like some of the Timberman fuckers. Maybe they would have actually been good enough.
Well, if they could stop saying the N-word.
Yeah, but like, when you have a fucking...
That might have helped them.
Couple of $1 million org, somebody there saying, hey, you're on our academy side, as long as you don't say the N-word, then maybe you would. Because the stakes aren't as high when the most that is going to happen is you get banned from ESEA for a couple of months. So, like...
Yeah.
At that point, it's like... those players could have been something today. Instead, they're kind of the laughing stock. And they're still the next up. They're the next up guys. Still today. Because they just haven't moved. And I'm sure... this is the kind of stuff that had to happen 4 years ago. Now it's beyond saving. If they do it now, it's going to pay dividends in 2029. Like you said, after all the majors we currently know about. But if they did it when they needed it, then it would have been... Then it would have worked out now. But yeah, they're... I could see a world where Liquid I think will go European at some point. At some point in maybe 2025.
Oh, if you see a route to a better team, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But let's move on anyway, because I'm bored of NA now.
Fuck America.
Yeah, basically.
I think we are. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna rattle off the 3-1 teams real quick, because I'm conscious of the time of this podcast. This is dangerously close to being an episode of HLTV Confirmed now, and no one wants that, not even HLTV Confirmed viewers. So the 3-1 teams, we have BetBoom, who are a very odd team because they're clearly quite good. I'm still not quite sure how good they are. Hilariously mismanaged though, because why is Flammus a stand-in still? He's very clearly just one of the better players on the team, and they need to make a decision of who they're kicking to bring him in permanently. 9Z, I am sure they're a shit team, but they've gone through. So, well done, 9Z. You've continued to prove me and King T wrong for one more Swiss stage. Good job, guys. Let's have fun when you go 0-3. And G2, Nertz is like proving why G2 had been chasing him for a very long time. Very good player. I still have my concerns about Hunter being in rotator roles. I don't know why you would ever put Mattis as a B anchor on Mirage. I really think you should just listen to the bloke talk to know that that is a terrible idea. Just one of the worst things you could ever do. But they went through 3-1, which, considering how high I am on Foot and Spirit, you'd probably expect that. But let's go to an ad break, and then we'll talk about Foot and Spirit, and we'll talk about Stage 3 teams very quickly when we're back.
So Jack, do you find it hard to keep up with all the news in Counter-Strike?
I do. I took a weekend off and I came back to 6 new IGLs, 3 retirements, and apparently Navi's Waterboy got picked up by a top 20 team.
Right, that's why I've been relying on the TLDR newsletter. It's a bi-weekly email that keeps you up to speed on everything in the CS scene, without needing to scroll Reddit for 3 hours while questioning your life choices.
Yeah, it's like if HLTV had a baby with your funniest friend who actually watches every game. You get quick hits of news, spicy roster moves, upcoming match schedules, and even some insider gossip. All killer, no filler.
And let's be honest, some of these tournament formats, you need a guide just to figure out who's playing who. TLDR breaks it all down, so you actually know what the hell's going on.
Plus, it's funny. Like, actually funny. It's like reading a group chat between smart CS fans who roast everything in sight, but still care deeply about the game.
So if your brain's full, but your heart still beats for Counter-Strike, do yourself a favour. Sign up for the TLDR newsletter. It's free, fast, and guaranteed to make you smarter. Or at least sound smarter in Twitch chat.
Check out the link down below and subscribe, because the only thing more tragic than missing a major upset is not even knowing it happened.
TLDR. You don't have time to read everything, but you still want to sound like you did.
Okay, so we're back. I think we'll start with Foot first, because I want to ask you both ignoring their Swiss run because I feel like 3-0 was pretty expected from them. What's your expectations for them moving forward in this major?
They definitely can make playoffs. They can. But I wouldn't put them any higher than the quarterfinal, I don't think. I think, especially in recent times before the major, they showed a little bit of weakness, and it was not the best circumstances, obviously, with that America's trip, with Lonex and everything. But I think they did get slightly shown up, and that's just the kind of stuff that is going to catch you out in a major quarterfinal. We're still also, like, we've talked about pressure. We've seen a lot of players affected by pressure. Foot probably, generally speaking, even if these are young guys, they have now won a decently big event. They've actually played several playoffs and stuff. When you get to the first major quarterfinal of your career, I think that's the kind of thing which is going to make them a little bit weak in the knees. And I don't see them going much further, unless they get like an absolute layup. Like if somehow fucking 9Z make it into this playoff as well, then...
then I shoot myself.
Yeah.
Napz?
No, yeah, agreed. I would even maybe go on to say that they might, because of how well they've done in stage 2, they might have it a little bit... Well, no, because they'll get good seeding, so they get worse teams. But yeah, no. Stage 3, possibly playoffs, quarterfinals, they go out.
So this is interesting, right? Because I think Foot are in a really interesting spot because we've seen that they are pretty fearless. They had some composure issues at some points, like they struggled to close out close games, but they've now won an event. Like, and their fearlessness, like you say, Quack, like that could come into question in a major. Remember, this is 4-5 if you include Coolio. It's their first major for all of them, apart from Launx. And I think that probably will be what holds them back. But for me, if you're gonna get like your Gambit or your Cloud9 at this major, it's Foot. I think they could win the major, and I don't think I would be that surprised if they did, because their fearlessness could also help them. Like Vitality do handle pressure better than everyone, but this is probably the most pressure they've ever felt. Could Foot pull off something there? Yeah, maybe. We saw them play well against them in what was it, Atlanta, I think, or Fort Worth. It was one of them. So they absolutely could. Like if they get a run that favors them, yeah, they could win the major. But I do agree. I think quarterfinals is more likely. I do think they will make it to playoffs. I think that for me is pretty certain. But we'll see. As for Spirit are now very interesting. Because they've been playing without the coach, which I think being without Hallie is always going to be a benefit. But Spirit now are a strangely untested team, right? Because yes, they just won PGL Astana, or whatever event it was, but we know the fields for Astana.
Bucharest, actually.
No,
they won Astana.
Bucharest. They won Astana.
Oh, sorry, Spirit. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was still stuck on Foot. Yeah.
Like, the fields for Astana and Atlanta were split across the two events, which means there's a lot of teams in Stage 3 that haven't experienced each other. And I know before that, Vitality did beat Spirit 3-0, but I don't think Vitality have played this version of Spirit. I think that Spirit they beat is very different to the Spirit we're experiencing now. So, with that said, I think this Spirit is a Spirit that can beat Vitality. So is it that crazy to suggest Spirit might be the favourites for the major?
I think... Look, okay, if Spirit face Vitality before the semi-final, I would say, if they play them in the quarter or something, I think they do it. But Vitality are just like so much better the deeper they go into a tournament, where like you need to beat them early to beat them. So like if we get Spirit Vitality in a semifinal or in a grand final, then Vitality are still winning, I think. But it's not that far off. If we have a non-Vitality winner, it will be Spirit, 100%. I believe in that.
Yeah, I agree. I do kind of like. I know they're fired up right now, but I do kind of want to depend their playoff performance on how well they do in stage 3. Like if they do well in stage 3 as good as they've done, you know, if they stay as fired up in stage 3 as they are now, which I know that the quality of teams will be different, then yes, they are the favorites.
I just think as well, like Spirit will always benefit themselves on the fact that they are Swiss stage demons. Like yes, okay, major stage 3 will be the hardest Swiss stage they've played in this. But this run also includes major stage 3 before. They're on a 27 match winning streak in Swiss stages. They are the undisputed kings of the Swiss stage. Like, that is incredibly fucking beneficial for them moving forward. So I expect them to just be pretty favourable. I think we'll probably see Vitality and Spirit both 3-0, which would set them up for a grand final meeting. And I really think we're at least getting 5 maps out of that, to be honest.
Hopefully.
Do you know what I think? Maybe it's not going to work out this way. Maybe the first game of the Swiss stage where we have all best of 3s. I think I don't know how the seeding works out exactly, but it could be Vitality Spirit in the first game.
Yeah, it could be.
But I think it might be Foot, because Foot were higher ranked going into the major. I'm not sure how they seed it or reseed it.
Well, it's 1 versus 9, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, our Spirit number 9 or number 10, because Foot had a higher seeding going into
it's the invite ranking, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I think in the past, I seem to remember like they reseed before stage 3 or something because the major is so long, but I don't know if that's true. I don't have time to look up the rulebook now. Either way, Vitality are getting an interesting opponent in their first game, which is gonna be a best of 3 as well. So
who's the second highest rated team in stage 4?
It would be Na'Vi, I think. Then
so yeah,
Falcons.
You're getting, because of who went 3-0, you're getting two games where the highest seeds entering it from stage 3 could both easily lose their games. I think Spirit would tank Na'Vi. I think
100%.
Foot aren't far off beating Na'Vi. I think Foot could beat Vitality, and I think Spirit could beat Vitality. So we're potentially shaping up for a very interesting playoffs just off those games alone, and what that does with Swiss further down the line and the playoffs.
Yeah.
But so let's just quickly look at the teams entering in stage 3. How many do you actually have playoff hopes for? Because I feel like we can instantly write off Mouse.
Yeah, it would be a long shot. Yeah.
Don't expect anything from Mouse. Don't particularly expect the Mongols to make playoffs either.
Possible. They're kind of
sure,
there.
It's possible.
I would probably put them like somewhere between 8th and 11th in this group, in this Swiss bracket, and that could be a playoff spot. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but let's, for the sake of it, say the Mongols don't. Let's say Mouse don't. Aurora, I don't see it personally.
No.
Okay, Na'Vi we see going through to playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vitality, obviously.
Yeah.
Furia. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Falcons.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay, which means that we have 2 playoff spots to fill.
Well, Paravision also won't make it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Paravision won't make it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So 3 playoff spots to fill. who fills them? Because for me, Foot is one. G2,
Spirit's
I
a
think,
given.
will fill one. And Spirit's a given. Are there any other teams that you think can upset? Can BetBoom upset it?
No. I don't think so. I like, as much as they've had great performances, you know, I think the entire roster uncertainty thing is just kind of a shadow hanging over them, which will eventually catch up to them. So I think that's what we'll see BetBoom kind of fall, is stage 3.
Yeah,
then-
I think. I think that what we saw in
They're a
Atlanta
3-2
kind of
team
shows
if
that.
they do it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They, like, BetBoom is coming. Like, they either, I think either way they go to the 2-2 pool, and then they either fall right before this finish line or the playoff line, I guess, or they go through. But that's it.
I would say, like what we saw in Atlanta is, I think BetBoom, they peak high, but then they kind of burn out, and it kind of makes sense. They don't really have that deep of a practiced strat book. They're playing a little bit ad hoc. Eventually you're just gonna play enough games where Apex has looked at all of your strats, and like you can shoot your way out of it, but it's not gonna be something you can count on game after game after game. So I don't think BetBoom are gonna make it. I think they will be 1-3, I would say, but if I had to put them somewhere, but that's where I put them.
And obviously, you know, there's also Big, Bait, Legacy, Tyloo, and Monty to factor in. Any of those you think could make playoffs?
Any of them can. That's the fucking thing about majors, is that you do just end up with like 9Z making a fucking major semi-final.
Oh no, not
sometimes.
them. They won't.
Less than a year ago, we had 9Z in a major semi-final.
Pain.
Oh yeah, it was Pain. Yeah, sorry, it was DG. I'm thinking about the fact that DGT was there. I'm getting it confused, but yeah, I mean DGT was there. No, I don't see any of this. G2 have a chance, but yeah.
Yeah, I would have wanted to say Big just for the storyline, but I feel like their storyline is running out at this point.
I'm not convinced they make it through today.
When it comes to Big, Charlie,
Exactly.
can you just bring up King T's Twitter, please? Because he put out something about them earlier. I'll need one of you guys to read it out if you could.
I will do that for you.
Yeah, if you just read this out for me, please, Napz.
All right. Big are a single best of 3 away from making my 2026 projection come true. On Retake the Week, I said this big roster would make the top 16 at a major. Now only Bait can stop that coming to pass. Unfortunately, it's a bit fraudulent. 0 wins over a top 10 team, losses to all manner of mediocre opposition. This wasn't how I saw them performing at all. I envisioned them as the next Foot, not the next 3D Max. Should they qualify, you would be a fool to put them anywhere but 0-3.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Quacke, you go.
No, this is what I felt going into the major. This is how they qualified. They didn't get upset by anybody embarrassing, but they also didn't really upset anybody. They won the games they should have, and they lost the games they shouldn't have. Still, big in 2026 still have not had a properly impressive win.
But so here's the thing. When we did the major preview, I said that I was confident the heartbreak of this major will be that Big go out 2-3 in stage 3. And I still feel that way. Because I think when I look at the teams on the bottom end of who is entering in stage 3, and the fact that Big will go in against one of those teams, I absolutely think Big, because there's caveats to all of these teams, like you never know how the Mongols are going to perform. Paravision, I'm not actually sure where Paravision come into it, but I'm just, going off this now. Paravision, I think, kind of fucking suck at the moment. Mouse, I don't expect them to be very good at all, actually. I don't think they'll make it to 2-2 day.
No.
I see teams that Big can beat, and I think from the advanced teams, I see teams that Big could beat. I think they could absolutely beat 9Z. I think they could absolutely beat Monty. And then I look at the other teams that are yet to play today. Yeah, they could beat Tyloo. Like, could they beat Legacy? Maybe, not sure about that. Maybe Legacy are a team that could also have playoff potential because they can be decent.
But that does mean they have to beat Bait today.
Sure. They obviously have to do that. And tomorrow morning when this goes out, everything I'm saying now could be complete horseshit.
Because
I've got a feeling they will beat Bait.
Okay. And what if they don't? Because then we also kind of have to talk about what Bait would do in the next stage.
Nothing. Like I don't think Bait make it to 2-2. I think there will be a mental buff, a mentality boost that happens to Big if they make it to stage 3, and I think that will get them to 2-2 day. I just don't think they make the Lanxess. I don't think there's a chance of that.
Do you know, I think if that was going to happen, that would have already happened with the comeback against NRG. Because that's basically exactly what Grick said afterwards. He's like, forever I'm going to be thinking about this game, because now I truly believe that anything can happen. Like, that's pretty much what he said verbatim after that game. I think if that was going to happen, that's already happened.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, maybe a miracle builds in a miracle. NRG. Like, well done, he's 12. Do you know what I mean?
But like... Maybe a miracle builds in another miracle, but I feel like at this point, Big's mentality is probably as good as it's going to get, to be honest.
Maybe.
Especially, yeah.
Sorry, go on, Napz.
It might only, like, I feel like it's also only getting better, their mentality, as they come close to stage 3. But like you said, they will at some point, like, run out of mental fortitude somewhere in stage 3.
But okay then, I want some predictions out of you guys. Who is going 0-3 in stage 3? Quack, you go first. You can include if you think a team is going to win today in the 2 remaining stage 2 games, which, by the way, Monty have just beat Pain 2-0, if you haven't checked.
There's a good chance Monty go 0-3. There's a good chance 9Z go 0-3. I think if Pain win today, I think they can go 0-3 as well. It's maybe those 3 that I feel are the biggest 0-3 candidates. I think Bait win a game because they've been good in the best of 3s. If Big go through, I think they could go 0-3. But I'll take one which is already through, and I'll say 9Z. I've tried to figure out what the matchups are going to be, and I think 9Z are one of those teams that are going to get a little bit shafted in the openers because I think they play like a Falcons or a Mongols. But they could also get luck out and play Perivision, so what do I know?
So 9Z and...
I'll say 9Z, and if they go through, it'll be Pain.
Pain are out, mate. Monty are already through.
Oh, yeah, fuck, yeah, Pain. Monty were playing Pain. Yeah. Oh, fuck, that sucks.
No, it doesn't. 2 Brits just went through. Fuck you.
Tyloo or a prime candidate. They're also playing today. Which is
they play Legacy next.
Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah, Legacy are gonna win that though, so I can't pick that in good faith. I'll just go for Monty then. Honestly, I think the run is over. I think they're not satisfied, but it's there's not much left in the tank.
Okay, Napz.
I'm inclined to say Mouse should go 0-3 because they don't deserve anything but 0-3. I also think, Monty kind of just not really there. And other than that, I don't want to agree with everything you say, but 9Z is also like, I don't really see it happening. But like, I think my most surprising pick would then be Mouse because I think they will just absolutely like not be interesting to watch and not like they might squeeze out a win somewhere, but I don't see them doing it.
Okay. Well, I sadly think it will also be Monty. I don't think there's many teams here they can get a win against. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Paravision are going 0-3. Okay. Because I know they have the time to do the Jame and Dastan prep work, but I think their confidence is pretty low, and I think actually a lot of teams are now prepped against them and the playstyle. I think the playstyles that are low, I think the roster's pretty dead. and I have very little expectation for them. So yeah, I think they will go 0-3 at this major and announce changes before the playoffs even done.
Now, Sam, I think I've done the math, and I think Perivision play 9Z in their opener.
Yeah, they lose to 9Z, fine. I'm still happy with it. I was going to say, do you know what I was going to say actually? I was like, I could see them losing to 9Z in an 0-3 game, so why not lose it in a fucking first round match? Like, why not?
Fair. Yeah.
Right, 3 O's from you, please.
Spirit.
And
Yeah.
Fucking Vitality. Vitality and Spirit. Like, having done the math, I'm pretty sure Spirit will play Na'Vi. So
Okay.
I think we Gucci. Spirit have, 27 straight Swiss stage games undefeated. I think it's going to be 30. So, yeah.
Napz?
Yeah, I want to say Spirit as well. And I don't know what the matchups look like, so correct me if I'm wrong if they play like a really hard team and probably won't do it, but I think Falcons will do it as well.
I think that's reasonable. I think that's very reasonable. I was tempted to throw out Falcons as a spicy one, but seeing as you've done it, I'm going to say Spirit, and then I'm going to say Vitality, and I'm going to throw out a spicy one, and say that neither team drop a map until the grand final.
Banger.
And then the grand final would be 5 maps.
Banger.
And
I hope that's true.
One of the greatest major finals of all time, if not the greatest.
It would be
okay.
the greatest.
As a final one then, because I need more things that Charlie can hopefully slap odds on later on, because I'm a dirty partnership boy who loves sodomy, especially when it involves players and interviews.
Oh,
not
again. Snax,
each of you give me your 8 playoffs teams, please. I know we did this earlier and we're pretty lined up on them, but you might have some individual changes. So yeah, 8 playoff teams, please.
You want to go first, Napz?
I'll go first. So, yeah, this is just the 4 ones that are easy are Vitality, Na'Vi, Spirit, and Falcons, of course. After that, like we said, Foot is a good one. I do think Paravision do make it to playoffs. And I want to say G2 as well.
So that's 7, right?
Yeah, and then final one, I guess Furia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quack?
I feel like that's reasonable.
Yeah, now that I'm actually staking it out, it's actually difficult.
Yeah.
Mouse will either scrape by into a playoff spot or go 0-3. So I'll just say Mouse because it's the last semblance of hope that my nation has in this godforsaken major. And the 4 given. Yeah.
From someone who's already been kicked.
yeah. But like, I gotta believe. Vitality, Na'Vi, Spirit, Falcons, Mouse, Furia. And then I'll go to Foot and honestly, we'll throw in a legacy.
Okay.
Pending a win today.
Okay. I'm gonna go for Vitality, Spirit, Falcons, Na'Vi, Furia. I think they're your nailed on ones. I then think Foot are the next most likely. What's that give me? 6?
Yep.
I think so, yep.
G2, 7.
Yep.
And do I believe it's Legacy as well? I kind of do, but I also don't.
Typical one and done team makes the quarters and goes out.
Yeah, maybe. Vitality, Spirit, Falcons, Na'Vi, Furia, Foot, G2, and let's go.
Oh boy.
Let's go Bet Boom. Let's go Bet Boom. Ride the wave.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
And the microphone. Okay. I think with that then, we've been here a while, so we'll leave it now. I've been Sam. He's been Quack. The other fella's been Napz. I will guarantee be back next week. Quack, you might be back next week. Who knows? I don't even know.
See.
At this point, we'll see.
Hmm.
Producer Charlie has also been here. He's only had one struggle today. Good boy, Producer Charlie. Clap for Producer Charlie. Thank you, everyone. James will be making a thumbnail, and yeah, we'll be back in the next one. So, peace.